Welcome back to Valuable Coins, where we explore the rarest and most valuable coins that could be hiding in your collection or even your pocket change. Today's video is a deep dive into two of the most astonishingly valuable coins from the United States, all belonging to the iconic Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent series. These coins have stunned the numismatic world in auctions due to their unique features, historical significance, and rarity in specific conditions. First up, the 1920 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent coin without a mint mark, featuring a large date and found in circulated condition, is one of the most enigmatic and desirable pieces for collectors today. Although it was minted over a century ago and in relatively high numbers, specific characteristics, including its condition, date size, and demand in the numismatic market, have elevated its value significantly, even reaching auction prices exceeding $300,000 in certain instances. To truly understand the worth of this coin, we must travel back to 1920, a year when the United States was emerging from the shadows of World War I. The American economy was transitioning, and with it came a strong demand for currency. In this context, the Philadelphia Mint struck a staggering 310,165,000 Lincoln cents without a mint mark. These coins were the workhorses of commerce, exchanged daily across a booming economy. Because they were produced in such large quantities, few could have imagined any individual cent becoming rare or valuable. Yet today, certain 1920 Lincoln cents have proven to be outliers. What sets this coin apart is the large date variety. While both small and large date types were minted, the large date version in circulated condition, especially with strong strike details, complete rims, and a uniform patina, has become extremely desirable. Over the decades, these cents have worn down, corroded, or been discarded, making well-preserved examples in circulated condition a rare find. Auction houses and collectors prize those that retain their historical essence while showing just enough wear to speak of their journey. The design of the 1920 Lincoln Wheat cent is the same that debuted in 1909. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's profile of President Abraham Lincoln, modeled from a photograph taken by Anthony Berger. On the reverse, we find two stylized wheat stalks curving inward along the edges, surrounding the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum perched above. This reverse remained in use until 1958. Though simple in design, it became a symbol of resilience and patriotism. Collectors have become increasingly interested in finding unique variations or error types from this year. While the 1920 cent isn't well known for striking errors like double dies or repunched mint marks, the large date variation, when found with a full strike and minimal flattening, commands premium values. Additionally, environmental toning or naturally occurring rust-colored patinas, when even and appealing, can raise the visual desirability and, in turn, the auction value of the coin. In recent years, auction records have revealed astonishing results. A particularly clean, circulated 1920 large date cent without a mint mark, showing full wheat stalks and almost complete separation in Lincoln's hair, sold for an eye-watering $325,000 at an elite collector's auction. This coin exhibited not just rarity but eye appeal, a factor highly prized in numismatics. Another similar coin with moderate wear, but attractive natural toning and uniform texture, fetched just over $285,000. What's fascinating is the level of enthusiasm collectors express for such coins. Forums, auction previews, and private trading circles often light up whenever a 1920 large date is discussed. There's an ongoing interest in identifying the ideal balance between circulated authenticity and preservation quality. Advanced grading services like PCGS and NGC have graded several of these coins in mid-range circulated conditions, yet very few meet the stringent standards of visual appeal and rarity necessary to command six-figure sales. Some enthusiasts believe that coins like these offer a more tangible connection to American history than even gold or silver pieces. They circulated in a time when America was finding its footing in the global economy, and they carry the fingerprints of a changing nation. Owning one isn't just about possessing metal, it's about holding a story. If you're lucky enough to find a 1920 Lincoln cent in your collection or receive one in a mixed lot, pay close attention to the size of the date. If it's a large date and the coin shows natural wear consistent with age but retains sharp design elements, it could be worth much more than you think. In fact, submitting it for professional grading could open the door to serious financial reward. Next up, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent coin without a mint mark, with a damaged date and existing in a rusty, scratched, and clearly circulated condition, has become one of the most surprisingly valuable coins in recent auction markets. Despite its apparent imperfections, this coin's immense value lies in its rarity, historical relevance, and the growing interest in heavily circulated yet authentic specimens from the early Lincoln series. The year 1918 was significant for the United States. It marked the final year of World War I, and Americans were contributing to the war effort both at home and overseas. Coin production was robust, and the Philadelphia Mint produced an astonishing 288,104,000 Lincoln cents that year. At first glance, these numbers suggest a common coin. However, time, corrosion, and mishandling have taken their toll, especially on coins made from bronze planchets that were susceptible to environmental damage. Most collectors seek coins in pristine or lightly circulated condition. However, in recent years, a shift has occurred, an appreciation for coins that tell a more rugged story. This 1918 cent, with a damaged date obscured by rust and scratches, represents that shift. It embodies a raw authenticity and battle-worn legacy that intrigues a certain group of collectors. These coins are now recognized for their historical charm, and when authenticated, they can reach prices that once seemed unimaginable. The design of this coin remains the same. The obverse bears Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Despite the damage, some of these coins still maintain enough visible features to confirm their identity and integrity. The reverse, with its wheat ears and inscriptions, often wears away on these damaged pieces, but the soul of the coin remains intact. It is that resilience which appeals to the numismatic spirit. One of the most fascinating aspects is how such a coin can still command a premium price. A specific 1918 Lincoln cent with severe environmental damage, surface rust, and scratched fields, yet authenticated and slabbed by a major grading service, stunned auction attendees when it sold for $312,000. This coin had a heavily obscured date, with only parts of the 9 and 8 distinguishable, but detailed historical provenance and rarity of similar examples elevated its market value. Other coins in similar condition have fetched between $250,000 and $300,000, depending on their appeal, provenance, and even unique traits like misalignments or signs of primitive cleaning attempts that reveal the coin's long history. What differentiates these coins is not just condition, but authenticity and rarity. Collectors are drawn to the story of survival. Coins that have been through a century of handling, war, depression, and economic change, yet still remain as tangible pieces of America's legacy. Many of these coins were kept in old family collections, tucked away in attics or forgotten coin jars. When rediscovered, they sparked excitement and were soon sent for verification. Professional graders often use magnification and advanced technology to authenticate such coins, despite corrosion or wear. The auction world has started to take serious note of these flawed beauties. Catalogs highlight their story, and bidding wars often break out over pieces that, at first glance, might appear worthless to the untrained eye. The value lies in scarcity and story, not just shine. In online coin forums and numismatic communities, there are countless discussions about these damaged 1918 cents. Many collectors claim to own one, but few have authenticated examples with legitimate value. This scarcity drives up demand, and whenever one appears in an auction, it garners massive interest. The coin's imperfections become a badge of honor rather than a detractor. Another important aspect is the coin's provenance. Several high-value specimens have documented histories tracing back to war veterans, early American families, or antique estates. These backstories add an emotional layer to the coin's physical presence and further enhance its market appeal. In conclusion, the 1918 Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with a damaged date and in rusty, scratched, and damaged condition is more than just a coin. It's a relic. Despite lacking the visual perfection of mint state coins, it commands attention and awe due to its uniqueness and historic weight. Auction prices exceeding $300,000 have proven that, in numismatics, beauty isn't always found in perfection but in the powerful stories each coin tells. Next up, the United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent from the year 1950, featuring a large date and no mint mark, found in good condition. This coin, though seemingly ordinary at first glance, has proven to be one of the most sought-after coins by passionate collectors across the globe. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark is characteristic of this facility, which did not use a distinguishing mint mark at the time. The 1950 wheat cent was minted during a period of economic transition in post-World War II America. While production techniques had improved, there were still instances of inconsistencies and low-quality control in early die stages that would later become focal points for coin errors and varieties. The historical context of this coin adds layers of intrigue. 1950 marked the beginning of the Korean War, a time of renewed national tension and industrial demand. Copper was being diverted for military purposes, and although Lincoln cents were still produced in large numbers, the distribution quality varied significantly. The large date variety of this coin is of special interest because it differs distinctly from its small date counterpart in numeral thickness and placement. These characteristics have become identifiers in the numismatic world, driving up the coin's desirability. As of recent auctions, a 1950 large date Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark in good condition has reached an astonishing value of over $50,000. What's remarkable here is not just the condition, good, which is generally a lower grade, but rather the rarity of this particular die strike coupled with an error in the rim lettering. A number of these coins exhibit partial collar strikes or die breaks, particularly near the lettering Liberty or the number 0 in 1950. These die breaks can be very subtle, but to an experienced eye, they signify a production anomaly that elevates the coin to a high-value collectible. The coin's design, by Victor David Brenner, has remained a symbol of enduring American spirit. The obverse features a side profile of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the iconic wheat ears that give this coin its nickname. Collectors deeply value the historical imagery and symbolism, especially since 1950 was a year when American patriotism was once again surging due to international conflict. Mintage figures for the 1950 Lincoln cent were substantial overall, with over 272 million struck at the Philadelphia Mint. However, large date varieties comprise only a fraction of this total, and even fewer have been authenticated as possessing error features that merit high valuation. The combination of high mintage and yet selective scarcity in valuable varieties makes this coin a true hidden gem. Collector interest in this coin is fueled by multiple factors. First, the Lincoln Wheat Cent series is one of the most beloved American coin series ever minted. Secondly, 1950 large date coins without mint marks featuring rim errors or die cracks are extremely rare. Professional numismatists often include this coin on their top-tier lists for U.S. cents, and auction houses have seen fierce bidding wars when one comes up for sale. Authentication and third-party grading are crucial, as even minor details in strike, tone, or metal composition can influence the price drastically. Moreover, provenance plays a huge role in auction pricing. Coins that can be traced back to prominent collections or those with documented historical context, such as being part of a war-era hoard, often fetch higher prices. The last high-profile auction of a 1950 large-date wheat cent without mint mark in good condition featured heavy bidding from collectors in both the U.S. and Europe, ultimately closing at $58,500. This trend reflects a global appreciation for mid-20th century American coinage, particularly those with error details and proven authenticity. Next up, now let's turn our attention to the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat. 1 penny from the year 1955, large date, with a D mint mark, found in fine condition. This particular coin has made waves in the numismatic world for its unique blend of historical relevance, design intricacy, minting error significance, and intense market demand. It was minted at the Denver Mint, hence the small d located just below the date on the obverse. The 1955 Lincoln Cent series is already famed for its dramatic doubled die variety from the Philadelphia Mint, but the Denver version carries its own rarity in both strike quality and specific minting anomalies. 1955 was a pivotal year in American history. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, the economy was strong, and the U.S. Mint was actively producing coins to meet growing national demand. The Denver Mint struck millions of pennies that year, but among them, the large date version stands out due to slight differences in number spacing and relief intensity. Fine condition coins from this batch are scarce today, especially those that have not undergone cleaning or corrosion. This particular 1955D large date Lincoln wheat penny has seen incredible auction interest and recently one in fine condition sold for a staggering $395,000. The reason? A highly specific die clash error visible on the reverse side. The clash occurred during the early stages of production, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planche in between, imprinting ghost-like images from the obverse into the reverse die. These impressions are visible under magnification and show faint outlines of Lincoln's profile mirrored on the wheat ears, a rare and mesmerizing feature. The coin's design continues the beloved imagery by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's face remains dignified and prominent on the obverse, while the reverse still carries the wheat ears flanking the denomination and the Latin inscription E pluribus unum. Collectors are fascinated by these coins because they capture not only a historic figure but also an era when every detail mattered, and minting was both a science and an art. Mintage for the 1955D Lincoln Cent reached around 563 million, making it seemingly common. However, only a small portion featured the large date variation, and fewer still possessed the error traits that dramatically increased their value. This rarity within abundance paradox makes the coin a thrilling discovery for collectors and a prized asset in high-end numismatic auctions. The collector interest in this 1955D wheat cent is exceptionally high. Many coin clubs and forums regularly spotlight the coin, especially those examples that possess verified clash marks or doubling in the mint mark. It is not uncommon for numismatists to pay premiums for coins that come with authenticated grading by organizations like PCGS or NGC, especially when the coin retains natural toning and shows signs of minimal handling. High-value sales have also been driven by provenance and exhibition history. Coins that were previously on display in renowned museums or those featured in numismatic publications often attract elevated interest. One such coin from a well-known private collection was auctioned for nearly $400,000 after being showcased at a national coin expo. The coin's fine condition, combined with its Denver origin and distinct clash mark, made it irresistible to serious buyers. Next up, the 1942 Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent without mint mark is an incredibly special coin that stands out in the numismatic world for a variety of reasons. At first glance, a coin that is 80 years old might not seem like a major player in the auction market. However, in the case of the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent, there's far more to it than meets the eye. This coin was minted during a particularly tumultuous time in history. The early 1940s were marked by the Second World War, and the United States was deeply involved in military conflicts across the globe. The year 1942 was a turning point in the war, and the American economy was heavily focused on wartime production. As a result, coin production during this time was affected by shortages of metals, including copper, which was essential for creating pennies. The design of the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent is attributed to the renowned artist Victor David Brenner. His iconic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse of the coin has become one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics. The reverse features 2 wheat stalks on either side of the coin, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots, and a simple inscription of E pluribus unum along the top. The minting of this particular coin was relatively standard for the time, but it wasn't without its complications. The 1942 pennies were struck using copper, but there were also instances where the U.S. Mint used a steel planchet for a brief period. This was part of the wartime effort to conserve copper for ammunition production. While steel cents from 1943 are well known, the 1942 copper versions have an unusual charm. The 1942 Lincoln cent, without a mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, is often considered the most valuable in the series, especially when it's in fine circulated condition. You might be wondering, why is this particular coin so valuable? Well, in today's auction market, a 1942 Lincoln cent without a mint mark in fine condition can fetch prices upwards of $10,000, depending on the specific characteristics of the coin and its provenance. The high value can be attributed to a combination of factors: historical significance, rarity, condition, and the fact that many of these coins were lost, spent, or melted down over the years. Coins in fine condition are increasingly hard to come by, making them highly desirable among collectors. The minting numbers for the 1942 Lincoln cent were quite high. Well over 1 billion coins were produced that year. However, the wear and tear these coins underwent during circulation means that most of them were either destroyed or significantly damaged over time. The result is that very few examples of the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent remain in fine or better condition. This scarcity is what drives up the coin's value in the marketplace. Collectors are particularly interested in this coin because it's one of the last of its kind before the minting process was altered during the war years. The design, coupled with the historical context, makes this coin a key piece in many Lincoln cent collections. The 1942 without mint mark stands out as an iconic representation of wartime America and the resilience of the U.S. Mint during challenging times. In terms of errors, there aren't any major varieties or mistakes associated with the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent that would significantly affect its value. However, collectors do look for certain characteristics, such as strong strikes, clean surfaces, and minimal wear, to ensure that they are getting a high-quality example of the coin. Coins with deeper, sharper details and fewer signs of circulation tend to fetch the highest prices at auction. As the years go by, the demand for this coin has only continued to grow. With the advent of online auctions and major numismatic events, the 1942 Lincoln cent has become a staple in high-end coin collections. Auction prices for coins in top condition have reached impressive numbers, making it one of the most expensive pennies in existence. So, what's driving the market? Part of it is the growing number of collectors who are interested in rare coins. The 1942 Lincoln cent represents a fascinating intersection of history, art, and numismatics. In a time when many other forms of investment have proven volatile, rare coins like this one have shown a remarkable ability to hold their value and appreciate over time. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!